I chose to join Romanow Law Group because I'd finally found a firm that shares my values. Primarily the value of never forgetting that each one of these cases is a human being. Many law firms look at a client as a revenue stream or just simply as another matter to deal with. And at some point, the client, the person, is reduced to a pile of papers. My values are rooted in my upbringing. I went to Carleton High School. I graduated from Moon Area High School. My mother started her own business in 1984 when I was about 10 years old. And so I learned from her the value of hard work and putting clients' and customers' interest above your own. I can remember my mom leaving the house at 4 o'clock in the morning, this 5-foot-tall, 95-pound woman, because she had to go into the office to shovel the driveway because some customers were going to be coming in that morning. And I like to think that I learned from that, the value of putting in the hard work and making sure that your customers and your clients' interests are put ahead of yours. I've been doing this long enough to conclude that we've got a larger percentage than average of just strange people that are attorneys. A lot of them are aloof and rude, and a lot of them are snobby too. Maybe they think that because they went to school for 7 years, they're better than you. I grew up in Crafton, just like Bill Cower, and you're never going to take that regular guy out of me. So I'm not a snob, and I'm never going to be a snob. Mostly thank you to my wife, Dawn, who also born and raised in Pittsburgh, never going to take that regular Pittsburgh girl out of her. A good example, last week I had a really good settlement for a gentleman, and I was really proud of myself. You know, got a pat on the back from David Romanow, went home, proud of myself, bragging to Dawn about how I got this really awesome settlement for this guy. And her reaction was, "Hey, that's really good. By the way, the cat threw up. Why don't you go clean that up?" So I'm never going to get too big ahead. Before I became an attorney, I worked for 10 years in broadcasting. I was on the radio. Started at a radio station called B103 in State College while I was doing my undergrad at Penn State for telecommunications. I was doing weekend and overnight fill-ins, which means that I'd go to school during the day, and then I'd go to the radio station and be on the air there from midnight until 5:30. That was the mid-90s, so I was playing a lot of Spice Girls. I was playing, remember the song Barbie Girl? And then I found where I really belonged. After there, I went to the rock station, radio station called Quick Rock. We had 2 transmitters, 97.1, which was in State College, and 99.1, which was in Johnstown. So on a clear night, when the wind was blowing just right, my dad could hear me on the radio all the way in Monroeville. Then eventually I had the opportunity to start my own radio station, and that station was called Hot 107.9 in State College. And for that, I was the program director, I was the wacky morning guy, and I was the zany afternoon drive guy. One of the more outrageous things that happened when I was working in radio didn't come from driving Godsmack and Three Doors Down and Disturbed to their concerts. It had nothing to do with some of the crazy stuff that groupies would do, and has nothing to do with meeting Rob Zombie. It has to do with finding out that I was a father. In 1996, I was still working my first radio job. That was the part-time job on B103. And at that point, I was still in undergrad, working for my telecommunications degree from Penn State. December 15th, 1996, I did a wedding, went to the radio station. Sometime after 1 o'clock in the morning, the request line rings. And so I answer it, B103. And the voice on the other end says, "Drew?" And I said, "Yeah, what can I do for you?" And the voice says, "Well, I had him." And I said, "Who is this?" And the voice said, "This is Jody." Now, Jody was my girlfriend at the time, and my girlfriend at the time was pregnant, except the baby wasn't due until April 1997. So I found out that I was a father between songs on the air on a top 40 radio station. And when I thought that I had 5 more months to get ready for this, and I found out that I was the father of a sick baby, a 1-pound, 5-ounce little boy who was going to spend the first 6 months of his life in the neonatal ICU unit. He had laser eye surgery, he had heart surgery, he had hernia surgery, he had some procedures done on his lungs, and he finally got out of the hospital in April 1997, and he had oxygen, a heart monitor, constant follow-ups with pediatricians and specialists. And that was 21 years ago, and Dylan today is 21 years old, perfectly healthy, working a full-time job, and he's got his own apartment in the North Hills. In essence, I'm a regular guy. I'm a good attorney, I'm respectful of you, I'm respectful of your time, and I hope you feel comfortable calling. I look forward to meeting you.